A man fell in love with a landlord's wife, but the landlord was unaware of their affair. One day, the landlord caught them secretly in a corner. Furious, he ordered the man's execution. The man managed to escape and took refuge in a church, pretending to be deaf and mute to get work there. Soon, the nuns noticed his handsome looks and one by one began getting attracted to him. How long would this secret continue between the man and the nuns? Let's find out. Before the story begins, let us clarify. This video is purely for entertainment purposes and to explain the concept of a film. Our intention is not to hurt anyone's religious beliefs or sentiments. If any clip or dialogue makes you uncomfortable, we kindly request you to view this only as entertainment. The movie opens with a nun named Fernanda, who is walking through the forest with her donkey on the way back to the church. Once she arrives, another nun, Ginevra, asks her, "Where were you last night?" Fernanda replies, "As usual, my donkey ran away again, and I spent all night looking for it until morning." Ginevra says, "But I always lock the gate properly. How does it keep running away every single night?" While they're talking, the church gardener, Lurko, passes by and wishes them good morning. Instead of responding politely, both nuns scold him and chase him away. In the next scene, all the sisters gather in the church for their morning prayer. Afterwards, the superior nun, Sister Maria, asks Fernanda, "Where were you last night?" Fernanda gives the same excuse about chasing her donkey. Sister Maria stays silent, but the real reason behind a donkey's constant escape will be revealed later. Meanwhile, we see another nun, Alexandra, sitting in her room doing some sewing. She looks very sad because she doesn't want to stay in the convent. She dreams of going outside and living a free life. On the other side, Sister Ginevra is speaking with Sister Maria when she finds a strange old book. Inside, there's a picture and text about a mysterious ritual. Curious, she reads a few lines, then quickly shuts the book. Later, Alexandra's father comes to visit her. They sit and talk. He tells her, "I'm looking for a good man for you, but the problem is every good man demands a very high dowry." Alexandra suggests, "If you could reduce the donations you give to the church, maybe that money could go toward my dowry." But her father refuses, saying, "That wouldn't be right. Don't worry. Whether you marry or not, you'll still live a good life. Focus on your career instead." Hearing this breaks Alexandra's heart because what she really wants is marriage and a beautiful life outside. The next day, we see the three nuns together, carrying the clothes they had knitted. Alexandra tells them about the conversation she had with her father, and they all feel sad for her. Suddenly, they notice Lurko, the gardener who had greeted them earlier, staring at them strangely while working. The three nuns become furious, storm inside, throw out his belongings, and even beat him up to vent their frustration. Meanwhile, the church priest, Father Tommaso, is on his way to the market to sell the clothes made by the nuns. On the road, he runs into Lurko, who says, "Forgive me, Father, but I don't want to work at this church anymore." He explains how the three nuns had beaten him. Father Tommaso tries to console him, saying, "This won't happen again. Please don't leave the church." But Lurko refuses to stay and walks away. After this, we move a few miles away from the church to the house of Lord Bruno, a wealthy landlord who is having dinner with his wife Francesca. But Francesca's attention is fixed on their servant Macedo, and Macedo is also secretly looking at his mistress. From their glances, it is clear that something is going on between them. That very night, we see Francesca and Macedo playing cricket on the bed. Francesca tells him all he ever does is boast about his wealth and status. And suddenly they hear Bruno approaching. Panicking, Macedo tries to escape by jumping out the window. But Bruno arrives just in time to catch a glimpse of him running away and chases him straight into the servants' quarters. Macedo, however, gets there first and quickly pretends to be asleep. Bruno begins checking every servant to see whose heartbeat is racing from running. When he gets to Macedo, suspicion grows, but because it's dark, he can't identify him for sure. So Bruno cuts off a small lock of his hair, planning to confirm his identity in the morning. But as soon as Bruno leaves, Macedo cleverly cuts small chunks of hair from all the other servants as well. The next morning, Bruno lines up all the servants and inspects them one by one. To his shock, everyone's hair looks freshly cut, making it impossible to figure out who the culprit was. Still, Bruno realizes that whoever this man is, he must be very clever. He warns everyone, "The day I catch him, he's finished." Then, to remove any advantage, he orders all the servants' hair to be cut short. The next day, during another meal, Francesca once again keeps staring at Macedo, which doesn't go unnoticed by Bruno. Furious, he warns his wife, "I know you're involved in this. If I ever catch that servant, I'll kill him, and you along with him." But Francesca shows no fear and defiantly replies, "You'll never be able to do that." Bruno then notices the subtle looks exchanged between Francesca and Macedo, and finally realizes the servant is indeed Macedo. Later, we see Macedo working with Francesca nearby. She tries once again to play cricket with him, but this time, Bruno sees them from a distance. Enraged, he orders his men to seize Macedo and bring him in. Macedo flees for his life. Bruno's men chase after him, but fail to catch him. Running deep into the forest, Macedo eventually encounters Father Tommaso, whose cart is overturned after he drank too much wine on his way back from the market. All the clothes he was carrying have spilled into the river. Macedo helps him gather everything back, which makes Father Tommaso very grateful. When he learns that Macedo has no home, he decides to take him to the church. At the church, Father gives him food and warns him, "You must pretend to be deaf and mute here. Otherwise, the sisters will make your life difficult." The next morning, Father Tommaso introduces Macedo to Sister Maria, saying, "I brought a man who is skilled in all kinds of work, but he is deaf and mute, so I thought he could replace Lurco." Sister Maria agrees and hires him. From that day, Macedo begins working at the church. Soon, Sister Ginevra, the one with the runaway donkey, sees him working and asks, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Macedo tries to explain through gestures that he is deaf and mute, but Ginevra doesn't understand and simply walks away. Meanwhile, the three sisters are talking together. Sister Alexandra and Fernanda don't know yet that Macedo has been hired to work there. Just then, Macedo arrives, smiles, and quietly starts doing his work. Fernanda mistakes him for an intruder, runs toward him with an axe, and threatens him, demanding, "Who are you?" Macedo doesn't answer, only tries to explain through gestures that he's deaf and mute. Fernanda, not understanding a thing, keeps pressing him. At that moment, Alexandra quickly brings Sister Maria, who explains to them, "He's our new gardener. His name is Macedo, and he's deaf and mute." Hearing this, Fernanda lets him go but loudly shouts into his ear, "Wake up." After that, we see Sister Maria speaking with Alexandra, telling her, "The clothes you sisters worked so hard to weave were stolen by robbers when Father was on his way to the market. I'm sorry all your effort went to waste. From now on, we'll bring in more people to help so that more clothes can be made in less time." Next, Alexandra is shown working with an elderly nun named Viola on the clothes. During this, her weaving frame breaks. To get it fixed, she goes to Macedo, but Sister Ginevra spots her heading toward him and secretly follows to spy on them. Alexandra asks Macedo to repair the frame, which he begins fixing. While he works, she vents her frustrations, saying she doesn't want to stay in the convent or spend her life sewing clothes. She wants to escape and live freely outside. Alexandra confides all this to Macedo because she knows he can't reveal anything. After all, he's deaf and mute. Macedo listens silently, showing no expression, still keeping up his act. Alexandra also knows he can't hear or say anything, which makes her feel safe opening up to him. Later that night, Father Tommaso comes to Macedo's room and asks him how his first day went, reminding him that some of the sisters can be a little quarrelsome, which might make the work difficult. Macedo replies, "Yes, a few of them really are tough to handle, but I can manage." Father reassures him, "Don't worry, they won't harm you. Just keep me informed of everything, and always pretend to be deaf and mute around them. Otherwise, they'll trouble you even more." Meanwhile, Fernanda is reading in her room when suddenly a stone hits her window. She opens it and sees her childhood friend Marta outside, who has come to visit her. The two then go to Alexandra's room, where the three of them start drinking wine together. A little later, Sister Ginevra also joins, and soon all four are enjoying themselves. As the drinks flow, their conversation turns romantic. Marta starts telling them about men and explains that there's a special herb that, when used in a certain way, can attract men. The others giggle and eagerly listen, getting carried away by her stories. The next day, while Macedo is working, Alexandra comes over and says, "I made this handkerchief for you." She then uses it to wipe the sweat off his face and sits close to talk to him. The truth is, after hearing Marta's romantic stories the previous night, Alexandra's mind is filled with naughty thoughts. While chatting, she suddenly kisses Macedo. Macedo, not wanting to miss such an opportunity, immediately thinks about playing cricket with her right there. But just then, the church bell rings, startling Macedo. Alexandra quickly composes herself and rushes off to pray in the chapel. During prayer, Fernanda notices dirt on Alexandra's scarf and under her fingernails. Later, while Fernanda and Ginevra are washing clothes, Alexandra arrives, looking unusually cheerful. She says, "Last night was amazing." Suspicious, Fernanda asks, "What are you doing here? And why are your clothes so dirty?" Alexandra replies, "I was helping the new gardener with his work, so my clothes got dirty." But both sisters find this hard to believe. Alexandra never does chores, and now suddenly she's here washing clothes herself. Fernanda, being clever, immediately suspects Alexandra is hiding something. We then see Fernanda and her friend Marta searching in the forest for that special herb. They find it, boil it into a liquid, and Marta drops 2 drops into Fernanda's eyes. Then she pricks Fernanda's finger, takes a little blood, and smears it across her cheeks. But all of this is secretly witnessed by Ginevra. Next, Fernanda and Marta sneak into Maceto's room. And together they try to seduce him using their strange ritual. Maceto is confused at first, not understanding what's happening. The three of them then fully indulge in this wild storm and earthquake. Afterward, Fernanda and Marta step outside, only to run into Ginevra. She asks suspiciously, "What are you two doing here?" They brush her off without giving a proper answer. Ginevra presses, "Are you ignoring me?" But the two make excuses and leave. Ginevra realizes they're definitely hiding something from her. That night, Father Tommaso comes to Maceto's room and asks if he's doing okay, suspecting that Maceto might be planning to quit and run away. But Maceto reassures him, saying he's very happy working here, though, of course, the real reason is something the audience already knows. The next morning, the head father bishop comes to visit the church. Father Tommaso and Sister Maria welcome him warmly. Meanwhile, Maceto goes to Alexandra's room. The two once again enjoy each other's company like rain falling, but suddenly, Sister Viola walks in. At first, neither of them notices her. Shocked, Maceto accidentally blurts out a word, leaving Alexandra stunned. Realizing Viola is there, they both panic. Alexandra quickly distracts her by pretending to help, while Maceto hides under the bed. Luckily for them, Viola is hard of hearing and doesn't notice their behavior. When she finally leaves, Maceto quietly tries to escape through the window, but just then Sister Maria and Father Tommaso appear. Terrified, Maceto crawls back under the bed. Only after they leave does he finally climb out the window and sneak away. The next day, Ginevra sees Maceto resting and decides to try attracting him herself. She prepares the herbal mixture, but instead of putting it in her eyes, she drinks it. The effect makes her dizzy. Meanwhile, Alessandra goes into Maceto's room and asks him why he lied about being mute. While the two of them are talking, they suddenly hear Ginevra coming, so Alessandra hides in a corner while Maceto pretends to be asleep. Under the influence of the herbs, Ginevra comes up to Maceto, clings to him, and starts acting strangely. But when Fernanda's footsteps are heard, Ginevra also hides, right where Alessandra is. The two see each other and are shocked. Fernanda then enters the room, ties up his hands, blindfolds him, and drags him toward the forest. Alessandra and Ginevra secretly follow her. By the time they reach the middle of the forest, night has already fallen. There, they see a fire burning with several girls dancing. Nearby, Maceto is tied up. Alessandra whispers, "What are they doing?" Ginevra replies, "I once read about a ritual where girls, in order to gain witchcraft powers." It's revealed that Fernanda had been sneaking off with the excuse of taking care of the donkey, when in reality, she was performing these rituals. Now Marta is also involved. Marta and Fernanda are just terrified. He suddenly shouts for them to let him go. At that moment, they realize Maceto isn't actually mute or dead. Ginevra also dancing with the other girls. This frightens the rest, and they scatter. Marta rushes at Ginevra angrily, demanding why she came there, but Alessandra arrives in time, snatches the knife away, and saves him. In the chaos, Ginevra fights Marta, takes the donkey, and rushes back to the convent. There she yells that Fernanda is. Hearing the commotion, the bishop comes outside, and Ginevra insists that Fernanda. Just then, Fernanda, Alessandra, and Maceto also arrive. Alessandra tells the bishop that Ginevra is lying, that she had taken the herbal concoction and was talking nonsense while intoxicated. But Ginevra insists she is telling the truth, claiming that they're all in it together and that both Alessandra and Fernanda had already. The bishop calls Sister Maria out to confirm, but then Father Tommaso also emerges from Maria's room. Everyone is stunned, and the bishop realizes the truth about what has been happening in the convent. The next day, the bishop delivers punishment one by one, demanding everyone repent before God. Father Tommaso receives the harshest sentence since he had abused his position as a priest. As punishment, he is sent to a monastery where only men live. Meanwhile, Maceto is handed back to Lord Bruno, whose soldiers immediately take him prisoner again. After this, we see the three sisters apologizing to one another. Sister Ginevra also says to Fernanda, "Forgive me." Then all three begin worrying about Maceto, fearing that Lord Bruno might. So they come up with a plan to save him. Meanwhile, Lord Bruno had locked Maceto in a cell. He comes in and says, "I tied my wife up with dogs and wild beasts so she would die. Now it's your turn, but I won't kill you. I'll keep you alive." And saying this, he leaves. Maceto then pleads with the guards to let him go, but they refuse and instead mock him. A little while later, they notice a turtle carrying a burning candle and follow after it. In reality, the sisters had set the turtle loose as a distraction. While the guards are gone, the three sisters sneak in, free Maceto, and leave a dummy in his place. They disguise him in nun's clothes and hurry into the forest with him. Elsewhere, we see Maria arriving with a donkey to meet Tommaso. The two are very happy, as they have fallen in love and can no longer bear to be apart. Suddenly, they hear noises and hide. Just then, Fernanda spots her donkey and wonders, how did it get here? But Ginevra quickly pulls her away. After they leave, Maria and Tommaso come out for hiding. They realize the three sisters have managed to free Misetto. Amused by their mischief, Maria and Tommaso smile at each other and walk away together. And with that, the story comes to an end.